Warsaw upset NorthWood 31-28 last year. Now the Tigers have a new coach in Bart Curtis, who has built a 6-1 record behind a punishing defense. Tonight, Nate Andrews and NorthWood look for their revenge with one of the best players in the state in Bronson Yoder leading the way. The Tigers and Panthers collide in an old-fashioned catfight for first place in the NLC, and it's next on 46. Under the shadow of the water tower in Napanee, the Northern Lakes Conference lead goes on the line tonight. The Warsaw Tigers have made the pilgrimage to take on NorthWood here at Jim Andrews Field on the 46 game of the week. And how you doing, everybody? Between the Hall of Famers, Bob Nagel and Bo Hunt, it's Chuck Freeby, and it's great to have you with us for what should be an exciting Friday night of high school football on TV 46, because after all, the Warsaw Tigers are the story of the Northern Lakes Conference this year. A lot of people didn't know how Bart Curtis would fare in his first year at the helm. Well, he's taken them to a 6-1 record and a chance at a Northern Lakes Conference title.
Well, they got a big group of fans down in Plymouth pulling for him tonight, that's for sure, Chuck. You know what they have here at Warsaw now is a system they can all trust. Early in the season, it was new, got to adjust to it. Right now, Josh West is doing a great job of running their offense. Juan Aramillo is doing a great job as a running back. They get a lot of help on special teams from a young man named Harrison Mevis, who can boot it right out of the sky. If this is a close game, it could come down to him. I also like the fact that on defense, they've got some guys who stepped up as leaders, and that they was a good football team. And I think when you look at what they do as the leadership with John Culbertson as the leader back there, this is a team that's ready to have a big game tonight against NorthWood.
And Bart Curtis has his team well prepared.
A great team, offensive juggernaut. They attack you a lot of ways defensively. We've only seen them punt twice, I think. So I'm not sure about that, but their kicking game's sound. They're just well-coached team, high-energy team. And obviously, they're 7-0 and they're averaging 49 points a game. So they're doing a lot of things right.
We had NorthWood on 46 2 weeks ago. Ooh, were they impressive, weren't they? And Bronson Yoder put on a show that night. He had 5 touchdowns, running, catching, throwing, interceptions. He can do it all, but he's got a lot of help on this NorthWood team, too.
He really does up front, Chuck. Wouldn't it be nice to be an offensive lineman knowing you got a guy like Yoder behind you who can break it? Newcomer can also break it. Newcomer gives you a great look on defense as well. The special teams have done a good job this year. I think the defense is strong. The linebacker core is as good as it gets on this team, and they're going to have to be really efficient tonight to handle that offense of Bart Curtis and the Warsaw Tigers. But you know what? Nate Andrews, guess what? Has his team in a mindset that's really ready for tonight's game.
You hear that all week, and every week we see a unique offense. I mean, they're all different. No offense is the same. And bottom line is, just like anything else, I mean, on defense, you got to read your keys. You got to play assignment sound. You got to use your leverage, and you got to tackle well. So that's what we're going to do.
Bo Hunt patrolling the sidelines once again tonight. Bo, these days when people talk about cultures, it usually has to do with yogurt, not football teams. But for these two teams, culture is really a buzzword.
It really is. When you're coming together for a new team or a new coach coming in, Nate came in a few years ago, and it's really changed the culture here. And what helps that is winning. And they've won a lot. And when you look at Bart Curtis, what he did at Mishawaka, and now what he's doing at Warsaw, the thing is, winning helps, but you have to buy in. And every kid has to buy in the program, and Coach Curtis talks about that all the time. Buying in, buying in, buying in. You got to do it this way. You have to have discipline. And if you don't have that, well, you know what? See you later. We'll find the next guy up, and they'll do that job.
I'll tell you what, we've bought into this one. We expect it to be a good one. The R. Yoder Construction pregame show and the Jordan Automotive Keys to Win are next on the 46 game of the week.
This is the WHME TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week, brought to you by Thor Industries, Bethel College Admissions, Teachers Credit Union, Bill's Heating, Jordan Auto Group, IU South Bend, Electrical Workers Local 153, JV Macri Orthodontics, Crown Trophy, Imagineering Finishing Technologies, and the IHSAA.
This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week being brought to you by the Jordan Auto Group. It's simple, easy, and stress-free. Welcome, everybody, to the R. Yoder Construction pregame show as we get you ready for Northwood and Warsaw tonight at Jim Andrews Field. Keys to win are now brought to you by the Jordan Auto Group. And for the Warsaw Tigers, offensively, they're led by their quarterback, senior Josh West, 6 foot, 170 pounds. He has accounted for over 700 yards of total offense, most of it by running the football, but he's been dangerous throwing it, tossing 6 touchdown passes this year. And he gets help from Blake Marsh, an electric two-way player. Marsh has 11 touches on offense this season, which doesn't sound like much, but he's got 2 touchdowns with that, and he's also picked off 4 passes. Quickly, the keys for Bart Curtis and the Tigers.
Well, Chuck, they have to play keep away. They have to be careful with the ball, got to move the chains, try to eat up some time if they can. They can allow first downs, but not touchdowns. They have to avoid the big play for Northwood. And they have to be special on special teams, and they can do that. They can limit the Tiger returns. The field position will be big, and Warsaw has an all-state, maybe an all-American caliber kicker. Bart Curtis, in his first year at Warsaw, is in his 28th season as a head coach with a record of 207 wins, 103 losses.
For the Northwood Panthers, their top player, well, he's right there in the middle of the scrum with the captains. It's number 9, Bronson Yoder, and Yoder has been doing it all for the Tigers, or for the Panthers, excuse me, this year. He has 1,187 rushing yards. He leads them in pass receptions, pass completions. He's also good at pilfering passes. And then he gets help from Nate Newcomer, who is also a quarterback, throwing for 203 yards and a couple of touchdowns, running for 341 yards, and proving valuable in the secondary. The keys to win for Nate Andrews and the Panthers.
Well, defensively, Northwood has to tackle. They've got to get there, they got to square up, and they got to get it done. They have to play a full 48 minutes because, you know, Bart Curtis and Warsaw will bring that. And ball security is important. Can't beat themselves with turnovers. That has been a problem. But Nate Andrews and his team works on it every day in practice. Nate is 82-53 in 12 seasons as a head coach. He's in his 5th season here at Northwood.
And there you see Nate Andrews sending his team out onto the field. The weather tonight brought to us by Bourbon Street Pizza. A gorgeous night for football. 65 degrees in the shadow of the windmill. The wind out of the southeast at 4. There's a 20% chance of rain, but most of the showers will get here long after we're home watching this one. Bart Curtis over on the other side, hoping his team is ready to go. They'll need big plays on special teams tonight, and they have a player that can provide it in Harrison Mevis, who will tee it up.
I'd be real surprised if Harrison Mevis didn't kick it in the end zone here. Northwood leads this all-time series 35-14. I guess this is meeting number 50, partner, in the 50th year of football here at Northwood. The first meeting back in 1969. Last meeting, Warsaw won it 31-28 at Warsaw last year on the 6th of October. And I'll tell you what, there is Harrison Mevis. He's a weapon, not only in kickoffs, but extra points and certainly field goals. If this is a close game, he could be a key player. Either way, like they say at Imagineering Finishing Technologies, everybody's going to be working toward a great finish. And here to call tonight's action, my partner, our Family Broadcasting Corporation Sports Director, Chuck Freeby.
Our first quarter tonight brought to us by L.J. Wagner Home Interiors. The ball on the tee. Mevis ready to have toe meet leather, but hold on. The officials aren't quite ready. They had to reset the clock. Kyle Sellers is the deep man for Northwood along with Bronson Yoder. And we're ready for some Northern Lakes Conference football and first place in the league on the line tonight. Mevis, the keeper on the soccer team, on the approach. It's a line drive bullet into the end zone, so Mevis has another touchback, his 38th of the season, and Northwood will turn to Bronson Yoder to try to get things done. And boy, when you take a look at the numbers he puts up, leads Northwood in completions and receptions. He's been dynamite running the football, 15th in the state in rushing, and in his career, look at the numbers, almost 4,500 career rushing and receiving yards. So we are underway here at Northwood. Our Facebook stream tonight brought to us by Monkey House Marketing. It is a little flip to Bronson Yoder trying to get around the outside, and John Culbertson, the leading tackler on this Warsaw team, made a perfect read and makes the stop for a 2-yard loss. Let's meet the Warsaw defense right away. And you'll see that for the Tigers, not only Culbertson, but they're strong up front with Van Houten and DeFord, those 2 big tackles. In the secondary, we told you about Blake Marsh, the 4 interceptions that he has.
Not very often you see Northwood behind the chains, Chuck.
Nate Newcomer taking the snap, and Newcomer weaves his way up to the 22-yard line. Let's take a look at the Northwood starting offense tonight. And for the Panthers up front, well, it's Bronson Yoder at the quarterback. They've got a lot of weapons on that team. Don't throw the ball a whole lot. And along that front line, they've really grown as a unit this year, spearheaded by the seniors, Josh Miller and Braden Michael. 3rd and 8 from the 22. And it's Newcomer at quarterback on play action. Nate Newcomer throws it too far, and it is almost intercepted. An incomplete pass, and Northwood goes 3 and out on its first possession.
Chuck, we said they can give up first downs but not touchdowns. They didn't even give up a first down in that first series. Art Curtis got to be breathing a little bit easier over there. He was afraid maybe they come in and that Northwood team can just really explode on you.
So Bronson Yoder is also the punter for this Northwood team, averages 36 yards a kick. Eli Owen is back to receive the punt. Good quick boot by Yoder, high end over end punt that will just die like a Nagel pitching wedge right around the midfield stripe. And Warsaw is going to have terrific field position to start the game tonight with Josh West at quarterback. And here's your starting lineup for the Tigers. Kane Dawson, the leading ball carrier. Keep an eye on Juan Jaramillo at halfback. He has been electric so far this season. And the starting offensive line, it's a very young group. The lone senior is tackle Matthew Shoemaker.
Mark the ball right at the 50-yard line.
So the senior Josh West comes out at quarterback. He runs for almost 5 yards a carry. And if the Warsaw offense looks like something that you saw Bart Curtis run at New Prairie or Mishawaka, well, he ain't changing for you. Kane Dawson on the carry, and he goes up the middle for about 5 yards on the play. Dawson, the senior, the leading rusher on the team. Let's meet that Northwood defense now as you take a look along the front line. Jake Lone having a very solid year at nose tackle. The linebacking core headed up by Nick Bontrager, 38 tackles on the year. In the secondary, they've had to make a lot of stops. Newcomer, the leading tackler, and don't forget about Bronson Yoder with 3 picks. 2nd and 5. West keeps it himself. Couldn't get around the block of Kane Dawson and only gets about a yard on the play before Jason Borkholder brings him down. It'll be 3rd and 4 for Warsaw, which is right about where they like to be.
Bart would like to take 3.5 yards of play. It'd be very good with him. That's a first down in 3 plays and move the chains, keep the clock moving. They do like to pitch it wide on occasion.
First possession of the game here for the Warsaw Tigers. West, a long count. Dawson, the ball carrier, fumbled, and Northwood has it. The Panthers come away with the football. It's Nick Bontrager on the fumble recovery. He had a fumble recovery for a touchdown last year against Warsaw. Tonight, he comes up and forces the first turnover of the game. You'll get another look at this one courtesy of Bethel College Admissions.
Tough break, but the good news for Warsaw is they were in Northwood territory, so turnover is going to have an effect, but not too bad. It's almost like Northwood got a first down in their first possession.
Northwood worked a lot this week at practice on trying to strip the ball carrier of the ball, and they were able to do it to Kane Dawson that time. So now Bronson Yoder at quarterback for Northwood on this possession from its own 41. He'll throw out in the flat to Jaden Miller. Miller tried to deke a man but couldn't get past him. Only picks up 5 on the play. Good solid tackle that time by Caden Silvius on defense for Warsaw. For Jaden Miller, as you'll get another look here from Bethel College Admissions, that's his 10th catch of the season. Now back to live action. Bronson Yoder carrying the football, gets around the corner and gets the first down, sponsored by J&M Stone. Stepped out of bounds at the 46-yard line, Bob, but a good solid pickup of about 10 yards on the play.
Move those chains. Gets rid of his negative yardage he had after his first carry. I didn't think that was going to last very long.
Tanner Feenstra, the receiver, up at the top of your screen. Yoder lines up in the pistol. And right up the middle of the defense, the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, and Bronson Yoder takes it for 9 yards on first down.
Tell you what, he's so quick too when he gets to the hole. If you're reacting to him, you're already giving up about 6-7 yards. And then he falls forward for 2 more.
Yeah, he's a sprinter on the track team. Ran on the sectional champion 4x100 relay team here.
The benefit too of the offensive line, you don't have to dominate somebody. Just get a piece and hold them for a second.
2nd and 1. Yoder weaving his way through the Warsaw defense all the way down to the 28, and then a late flag comes in. We'll see what this is about. It'll give us a chance to meet our officiating crew for tonight's game. It's a face mask call against Warsaw.
A 9-yard gain and a first down. There could be some more tacked on.
Yeah, well, you could see it right there as the Warsaw defender, DeAnthony Hill, reaches out and spins Bronson Yoder's head around. So the only question will be, do they call it a 5 or a 15? And quite frankly, that looked like the 15-yard variety to me.
It sure did. Of course, it'll be half the distance from the 28, so it'll be a 14-yard penalty. And Chuck, take a look at the officials for tonight's game.
Well, group out of Northeast Indiana. E.J. Carroll hails from Huntington, and he's the white hat of this crew. They've been around for a while.
Good crew, Don Greer, Brian Elliott, Lynn Belvins, and Ron Cherry.
So the first down on the penalty brought to us by J&N Stone. And Northwood capitalizing on a Warsaw turnover. They've already driven it to the Tiger 14. Nate Newcomer back at quarterback now. Hands it off to Ben Mestock, and Mestock tripped up after a 1-yard pickup.
Trying to share the wealth a little bit there for Mestock to get a carry. Quality running back.
Looked like Kobe Van Houten on the stop that time, the defensive tackle for Warsaw, who had a big game against Columbia City in the season opener. 2nd and 9. You see the story of the game on the Thor Industries scoreboard. This is Nate Newcomer bouncing off one tackler. Then DeAnthony Hill slams him down at about the 8-yard line. And that'll set up a 3rd and 4 for Northwood.
Gain of 5 yards on the carry.
Deshaun Malone with the lead block that time from the running back slot. He was able to take care of one of the cornerbacks, but then the linebacker Hill came over to make the stop. Again, they run Newcomer at quarterback, which means Yoder's over in the slot. Play action. They want Yoder in the back corner of the end zone. It is caught but out of bounds, incomplete. Newcomer led him too far on that one.
Well, it's usually a pretty good idea to throw the ball up when you've got a chance to have Yoder battle for it, but that time he came down with it, he's well out of bounds. Pretty good defense out there by Warsaw.
He knew where he was on the field. He knew he was trying to keep his toes down, but way beyond the end line there. And so now on 4th and 4, it looks like Nate Andrews is going to go for it. The Panthers are 5 of 11 on 4th down this year, and Warsaw's defense has been solid on 4th. Wildcat formation, Bronson Yoder, touchdown Northwood. Instead of a direct snap to the quarterback, they snapped it over at an angle to Yoder. He had a convoy of blockers in front of him and heads to the end zone for the touchdown, sponsored by Napanee Family Eye Care.
8 yards on the score, and they capitalized on that turnover, Chuck. You were hoping if you're Warsaw Tiger that maybe you could hold up your guy who fumbled the football, but give credit to Northwood. They put together a nice drive.
The 17th rushing touchdown of the year for Bronson Yoder, and Northwood will go for 2, as they usually do with Nate Andrews. It's a little razzle-dazzle play, and coming around the end, Jaden Miller throws, Tanner Feenstra catches, 2-point conversion for Northwood, and just like that, the Panthers take an 8-0 lead midway through the first. A turnover proved costly for Warsaw. They coughed up the football at midfield, and Bronson Yoder would make them pay. The Tigers and Panthers in an early 8-0 lead for Northwood here on 46. This edition of the TV46 High School Football Game of the Week is being brought to you by Thor Industries. It's the world's largest RV manufacturer.
Well, partner, it just took 2 minutes and 28 seconds for Northwood to go the 59 yards for the touchdown. 8 plays, 4 first downs, 1 on a penalty, which turned out to be a pretty good move there for Northwood. And the 8-yard run by Yoder. We've got an 8-0 ball game, and that man's pretty happy. Bart Curtis obviously didn't think he's going to throw a shutout at Northwood tonight, so this guy's got to regroup.
And look who's going to do the kickoff for Northwood. It's going to be Bronson Yoder handling these duties as well. Well, why not?
He's trying to earn a letter, I think. He's got all the letters, N-O-R, W-O-O-D. Or N-O-R-T-H, W-O-O-D.
So Yoder on the approach. A high spinning kick that'll be taken at the 8-yard line. Not bad for the backup kicker. Coming up to the middle of the field to the 30-yard line. Warsaw on the return. It looked like Eli Owen on the return. And let's get another look at that 2-point conversion, Bob, because the ball was being popped around like a popcorn popper here. And finally, Jaden Miller just pulled up.
Well, you got to come up and get Miller, or you got to guard the receiver. Whichever one you do determines what he's going to do, and he executed well.
Miller running to the left, throwing that with the right hand. That's not an easy play, but he made it almost look like an option pitch.
I used to throw that. You had an option of which end to catch.
So here's Josh West, the quarterback, and Warsaw, after turning the ball over with a fumble on its first possession, looking for its first down. Kane Dawson, the ball carrier, still on his feet, and he battles his way to the 36. Dawson trying to atone for that cardinal sin of a fumble, and he picks up 6 right here.
Probably went over to Bart Curtis and said, Coach, give me the ball. Got to get that one back.
Dawson playing after tearing his labrum in the game against Plymouth during week 3. Kane Dawson was not a player that was on the Warsaw football roster the last 3 years. Came out for his senior season after Bart Curtis got the job. And here's something that is not pleasant to Bart Curtis's eyes. A false start on his line. They have not been penalized all that much this year, only about 4 penalties a game. But take a look at the right guard here.
Bourbon Street Pizza in Napanee is open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner. Try the buffalo chicken pizza with sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce, tender garlic chicken strips, and mozzarella cheese. Enjoy your favorite pizza, pasta and wings. Dine in or carry out. Call for delivery at 773-9600. We want to thank Bourbon Street Pizza in Napanee for feeding our production crew tonight with great pizza.
Dawson battles for 3 yards there, and that'll set up a 3rd and 6 for Warsaw. Kane Dawson has been the workhorse of this Warsaw offense this year, averaging over 20 carries per game.
Still haven't seen Juan Armillo get a carry. Might have a little more quickness, but I'm sure that Northwood spent some time in preparation for this game and said, hey, keep an eye on Juan.
Jaramillo is the young man in the backfield with his hands on his knees right now, and just walked a step closer to the line. They pitch on the sweep, and trying to come around the end for Warsaw is Wyatt Amos, but he's slammed down at the 37-yard line, 3 yards short of the first down marker. So Amos, the 5'11 junior, gets his 25th carry of the year. Young man who likes to show cattle and swine at the Kosciuszko County 4-H Fair. And he had too many black jerseys to try to get around. Ben Mestock was the one who finished off the tackle.
Well, it's good to see 4 or 5 black jerseys get there in a bad mood, and that's what Head coach Nate Andrews wants in practice. He wants everybody to get there.
And here we are early in this game, and Bart Curtis at least showing that he wants to go for it on 4th and 3. Will he actually pull the trigger? The play clock got down to 1, and Bart calls a timeout. And we'll keep it right here with 4:38 to go in the first quarter.
Imagineering Finishing Technologies is a world-class metal finishing company specializing in plating, coating, testing, and consulting services. 59 years as a knowledge source for metal finishing solutions. You can reach us on the line at info@iftworldwide.com.
So let's show you what an important game this is in the Northern Lakes Conference. You see Northwood and Warsaw right there on top. Plymouth 4-1. They've got a win over Warsaw. They play Northwood next week. So even if Northwood wins this game, they don't clinch the conference outright. They still have to go down to Rocky Top next week and take on John Barron's group.
Be a bit of a challenge because they've been at home for 3 weeks in a row. So again, they'll be going from the regular turf down to the artificial turf that is on the field now at Plymouth. A lot of things to take into consideration, and that NIC championship is always well won depending on who wins it.
So here we go, 4th and 3 for Warsaw at its own 37, and again lining up like they'll go for it. Jaramillo in motion, they pitch to him. Jaramillo, the move in from Texas, gets the first down and more. He crashes out to the 50-yard line, and Warsaw will move the chains.
Gutty call. And again, getting wide on Northwood is not easy. Look at those blocks. Pretty good effort.
Jaramillo averaging over 10 yards a carry this season, and he got more than 10 on that one as he picked up 12 to get the ball to the Warsaw 49. It is 1st and 10. Fresh set of downs, and they'll hand it off. New back in the game is Bryce Garner. You'll meet him at halftime, one of our TCU Student Athletes of the Week. Garner with his 48th carry of the season, and he has been a player that has always played his best against Northwood.
Hasn't been one of their biggest yardage gainers on the year, but a strong, tough kid. Got inside there for about a yard.
As a sophomore, he had 2 touchdowns against the Panthers. Last year in the win down at Fisher Field, 122 yards rushing. Handoff up the middle. That, I believe, was Kane Dawson that time on the handoff, and he battles for about 3 yards. But again, no, it was Garner that time who ran for 3 yards. But again, that's fine with Warsaw. That fits right into Bart Curtis's game plan.
Looks like you put a new number in that backfield, and maybe Northwood thinks he's not going to get the ball, and then you give it to him twice in a row. One of the things about Josh West, he is very quick, knows what he's doing running that offense, but I think that Northwood's done a good job of shutting him down so far.
West keeps it himself this time, tried to bounce off tacklers and picked up about 3 yards on the play. And looky here, Warsaw looking at another 4th and 3, and you got to feel like Bart Curtis will go for it again right here.
Looking around to his staff and talking to his quarterback. What do you think? Should we go for it?
They are 20 for 30 on 4th down this season.
Pretty good percentage. A lot of teams would like to have that on 3rd down.
A little bit of confusion here for Warsaw is how do they to line up. Play clock down to 7. And Bart Curtis will use another timeout right here because 4th and 3 is no time for confusion with 2:40 left first quarter.
J&N Stone and the Loniger family wish the Panthers good luck tonight and through the remainder of the season. Jack and Nadine are proud supporters of Northwood and the entire Wanee community, and they take great pride in their customer service. J&N Stone, handcrafted, nature-inspired stone veneer.
Reminder, Saturdays on Pulse FM mean college football. We've got a good one for you on 103.1 tomorrow afternoon at 4. Tom Allen and the Indiana Hoosiers are 4-1, but now they got to go to the Horseshoe down in Columbus and take on Urban Meyer and the Buckeyes. Huge challenge for the Hoosiers. Could they get the upset? Don Fisher has the call. Saturday at 4 on your home for IU football. 103.1 WHME FM.
And Chuck, think about how long it's been since we've been able to say Indiana's 4-1. A lot of excitement down there. Purdue got a big win last week. They are off this week, but good to be in working with Purdue and IU on our broadcasts on Pulse FM.
It is 4th, and I'd say a short 3 here from inside the Northwood 44-yard line.
Is this when you change the cadence, try to draw them offside?
Well, that's what we thought they might try to do last time. Jaramillo in motion and a flag thrown, whistles blown. Did somebody jump?
It was a left guard for Warsaw. Got going a little bit early.
That will cost Warsaw 5 yards. That will cost them an opportunity for a first down. And that will bring on Harrison Mevis. And Bob saw it right away. There were just too many people who weren't set that time.
Well, it was a big call at a key point of the ball game, but again, you've got a team that's still adjusting a little bit to a new program and a new head coach.
Mevis, the line of scrimmage, the 49. Kind of a low, slow snap, but Mevis gets it, and Bronson Yoder has it at the 16. Yoder popped out of there.
No, he didn't.
Yoder, look out, there's a flag on the play, but Bronson Yoder has done it again, pending the flag. And a bunch of laundry on the field.
I put my head down to write down where he had been tackled, and how did he get up out of there?
Unbelievable. But the discussion going on, and one of the Northwood players was talking to the officials on the way by, and he wasn't exactly celebrating after he got the news, as you look at all the yellow laundry on the field.
We'll have to see if we get a chance to look on the replay if somebody maybe shoves somebody in the back or what the call will be.
Watch Yoder again. Well, there's a definite shove in the back by Hayden Snyder.
And really tough, you know, when Yoder changes direction so much and so quickly, it's really hard. You're going one way and the guy turns around, all of a sudden you're in his back.
You sound like Hayden Snyder's lawyer.
Hayden doing all he can, buddy.
Well, there's a lot of flags here, so some of them up by the line of scrimmage, and I think that's what the officials have to talk over here. And let's see what gets signaled here. Nate Andrews has the headset off. He's getting a description. So it's a block in the back against Northwood. That's declined. A hold against Northwood will be accepted. And my guess is that's the deepest one, all the way back at the 24-yard line, half the distance to the goal line. Or actually, it's a 10-yard penalty. They'll mark it at the 14.
Well, Warsaw dodges a bullet because Yoder was gone. That was going to be at least a 14, maybe a 15 or 16-point lead. But the Tigers got to find a way to stop Northwood.
The one thing Warsaw has been able to do, they were able to take some time off the clock with that drive. Yes, they didn't put any points on the board, but as you've already learned just watching the little 10 minutes of football we've had so far, the best way to keep Northwood off the board is keep the ball out of Bronson Yoder's hands.
3 minutes and 36 seconds on that possession for Warsaw. And again, it came up with no points, but you're right, Chuck. Any way they can shorten the game and keep it away from Mr. Yoder and company, that'd be good. Penalty puts Northwood back far enough where if you get a stop here, you get the ball in good field position.
But you've got to get the stop, and that's easier said than done as Nate Newcomer crashes forward for 8 yards on the pickup. Newcomer sometimes the forgotten man in this Northwood offense when people start talking about them, but he's put up some impressive numbers in his sophomore year.
He has 12 yards in the ball game on 2 carries, 30 yards so far for Mr. Yoder.
Came into the game with 341 yards rushing, 203 passing. He bobbles the snap here, but recovers well. Newcomer racing down in front of the Northwood bench, and a late flag comes in. And I believe 15 will get tacked onto this one for Luke Adamett's tackle out of bounds.
And he was trying to tackle him up high and wasn't able to bring him down, so he kept running till he was out of bounds. We finally brought him down. He was about 5 yards out of bounds. We'll see if the official takes that into account.
17-yard pickup on the play for Newcomer. And then 15 will be added on with the dead ball personal foul against Warsaw. Now that's going to take it into Tiger territory. First down sponsored by J&M Stone. Here's the tackle, and It's the fact that Adamek continued the action after they got out of bounds that was the reason the flag was thrown.
And Chuck, if you tackle him around the waist or on his legs, you bring him down sooner. You get a guy like that up high, and he's just running with you.
So 1st and 10 from the 46-yard line for Newcomer and the Panthers. Sean Malone, the other running back there with Newcomer. But it's Newcomer carrying himself, bursting up the middle, and he gets to the 38-yard line, pickup of 8 on the play.
And the two guys watching Yoder weren't able to help on that tackle.
And that's part of what Bronson Yoder does for this offense. He doesn't even have to touch the ball to be effective.
37 yards rushing now for Newcomer, 38 for Yoder. Mestack had the 1-yard carry.
Yoder lines up as a split end up at the top of your screen and has single coverage. Newcomer looks that way but throws to Jaden Miller, and Miller has the catch for the first down up to the 32-yard line. Luke Adamek with the tackle, but not before another first down sponsored by J&N Stone.
An 8-yard pickup on the pass reception.
32-yard line, the line of scrimmage. Northwood already with an 8-0 lead as we go under a minute left here in the first quarter.
Northwood so far in the ball game. 2 out of 3 passing for 13 yards, but also had a pass for a 2-point conversion.
Newcomer keeps it himself again, and Warsaw ready for him. Great penetration by the Tigers that time. Crashing in was Logan Johnson, the senior linebacker, and that's his 4th tackle for loss this season.
Loss of 5, and that will not go as a sack. That was a run play.
Johnson, a young man who wants to study engineering at Purdue. Well, he certainly studied the film this week, knew what was coming that time. Northwood with time for one more play here in the first quarter. Newcomer passes back. There's Vashawn Malone on the catch. Malone jitterbugs his way up to the 28-yard line, maybe even deeper. They're going to spot it at the 26. And Northwood will be looking at a 3rd and 4 when the second quarter gets underway. The Panthers getting on the board thanks to a Bronson Yoder touchdown run and a 2-point conversion. And they take an 8-0 lead to the second over Warsaw in this Northern Lakes Conference game on 46. This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week is brought to you by IU South Bend, fulfilling the promise. And we promise you good sideline reports throughout the night. Bo Hunt doing his usual stellar job down there with the Bills Heating sideline report. Bo, your thoughts on quarter number 1?
Well, when I look at Warsaw, they hurt themselves with the turnover and the penalty on 4th down. So their 2 drives, really they hurt themselves. They were able to do what Bart Curtis wants to do. Slow and steady, driving that ball down the field. They're only 1 score out of this game as of right now. Northwood, I really like what they're doing with Bronson Yoder as well. He was able to score that first touchdown, and in this drive, they've kind of used him as a decoy, putting him not just out of wide receiver, but way out past the numbers, drawing a couple guys out towards him, and really opening that up for Newcomer. Guys?
Didn't you do kickoffs back in the day, too? Do I remember that right?
I did the extra points, guys.
Okay, kickoffs are for somebody else.
That was my resting time.
Well, Bronson Yoder's done with his resting time. He takes the snap here, tries to bounce it outside, and Blake Marsh is right there to surround him along with a host of Warsaw Tigers. Ball popped loose, but Yoder was ruled to be down at the 27-yard line. 4th and 5, and got to figure Nate Andrews will go for it here. This is pretty far apiece for Person Sanchez to try to kick.
Talk about 2 coaches that like to go for it on 4th down.
Well, Northwood 5 for 11 this year on 4th down. They'll put Nate Newcomer back in the game at quarterback. Bronson Yoder lines up in the slot at the top of your screen.
Need 5. He'll go 6 yards downfield and look for the ball.
Newcomer tried to cut inside, and Warsaw smothers him. Terrific defense that time by the Tigers. Jackson Wagner comes over to make the stop. Warsaw takes over on downs, and as Bo mentioned, Bob, they're only down by 1 score. Look at the pursuit here.
Well, he tried to go forward, but he was wrapped up, tied up like a piece of round chuck steak on a butcher block, and down he goes.
So now can Warsaw sustain a drive? They've been able to get to about the NorthWood 40 a couple of times, but that's not far enough. Josh West, the quarterback. Man in motion, but West keeps it himself on a quarterback sneak and picks up about 2 or 3 yards. Tucked in right behind his center, Brock Huber, that time. The junior, 5'10", 195 pounds. You see him there, number 50 in the huddle.
7 yards on 3 carries for West so far, has not thrown the football.
He's capable of doing that. Last week against Wawasee, 5 for 5, 112 yards and 2 touchdowns in the win over the Warriors. 2nd and 8. They'll pitch it here to Juan Jaramillo, and Jaramillo gets spun around and taken down at about the 24-yard line. That time it was NorthWood with the excellent penetration.
Going to be a gain of 1 at Chuck. He's down at the 30-yard line. And I thought if he could get his balance back right there, he might have had a little bit of room, but NorthWood was closing in a hurry.
Brock Lehman came in from the cornerback position and made the hit that time. So now Warsaw looking at a 3rd and 7, and maybe this will be the first time tonight you see West go to the air.
West is quick enough if he rolls out and looking downfield. If they don't have enough people watching him, he can pick up some yardage.
Oh, drop football. Who got on it? Looks like Warsaw was able to recover. And that is one of the risks with the Bart Curtis offense, and especially early on in his tenure at Warsaw. They are not always as precise as Bart would like. And when the precision isn't there, those kinds of things can happen.
Well, if there is wind tonight, I'm not sure it's a big factor in what's going on. The limp flag down to our left. So Bart teaching and coaching. Good news at Warsaw. They've made the playoffs already.
Harrison Mevis, the kicker here for Warsaw. Line drive kick that Bronson Yoder has go off of his hands and scoops up at the 29, but that probably plays just into it. Look at him stiff arm a man, bounces off another tackler, and it took 5 of them to bring him down.
It's amazing. And there were some pretty good form tackles going on there too, and he just fought his way through. He has no interest in going down.
I am not going to identify the person who got the Chris Cotty treatment here. But look at this. Get out of my way.
Man. Winds up after the ball going off his hands, he still managed to pick up 12 yards on the return.
1st and 10 at the 31. NorthWood leading by 8. This is Nate Newcomer on the carry, and Newcomer picks up about 6. NorthWood has done very well on 1st down tonight, Bob.
They have, Chuck, and you know, before the game, Bart Curtis talking about we can give up 1st downs but not touchdowns. They've done a fairly good job, but boy, Newcomer carrying the ball, everybody's looking for Yoder. He's averaging about 7.5 yards a carry on 1st down.
Some other games tonight, Plymouth with a 7-3 lead on Goshen. That game in the 2nd quarter. Penn and Elkhart Central are tied at 7 in the 2nd, as are Adams and Washington 0-0. Here on the carry is Jaden Miller up to the 45-yard line. That's a 1st down sponsored by J&N Stone, though spotted at the 46, a 10-yard pickup for Miller that time, who is a very versatile performer out of the backfield. Jaden Miller has quietly put together almost 400 rushing yards this season.
And he's a good receiver. He's a solid downfield blocker, and he also can throw a little bit. We saw that on the 2-point conversion.
3-sport athlete. He's a baseball player and a swimmer. Man in motion was Mestock, but they'll keep it in the hands of Newcomer here, and he gives free pony rides up to the 41-yard line of Warsaw. That's another NorthWood 1st down sponsored by J&N Stone.
Another 14-yard carry, not bad.
Yards after contact. I don't know if anybody keeps that stat in high school, but boy, oh boy, Northwood would have a ton of them, wouldn't they?
52 yards in the night for Newcomer, 37 for Yoder.
Nate Newcomer, only a sophomore, obviously the heir apparent of this Northwood offense. This is senior night here at Northwood. Bronson Yoder's final regular season game on this field. And it's Newcomer slipping as he gets started, but it didn't stop him from getting up to the 36-yard line and a pickup of 5 on the play. You and I walked the field before the game, Bob, and despite it being week 8 of the season, this field is in excellent shape even between the hash marks.
It really is. I always go down to where they kick the extra points. Usually if there's going to be a little puddle, it might be there, but everything in great shape. And credit the staff here at Northwood for doing a great job, and Norm Sellers and his staff are great hosts for us. We really appreciate coming down here to Northwood High School.
They have quite a crown on this field, and that really helps with the drainage as well. 2nd and 4. Newcomer keeps it himself again, and oh, did he get greeted rather rudely right at the 34-yard line. Roaring in to make the hit that time. It was Logan Johnson, the linebacker. You'll get another copy courtesy of Bethel College Admissions. Johnson running right to the ball carrier, Newcomer, and stopping him at the 34. It's 3rd and 3.
Northwood about 3 yards short of 100 yards on the night on the ground. Also thrown for 24 yards.
Play clock down to 3 as they snap it. Bronson Yoder on the carry. Bronson Yoder dragging people. Bronson Yoder down to the 2.
Couldn't get in. What's wrong with that guy?
What a run. 32 yards and a first down, sponsored by J&N Stone.
Chuck, you see defenders hit him. Not enough. Arm tackle. Not enough. Finally, they bring him down, but well, what a electrifying run.
Now they give it to Jaden Miller on the end around, and he sweeps his way into the end zone for the touchdown. And Northwood is on the board again. It's 14-0. For Miller, his 4th rushing touchdown of the year. It's sponsored by Napanee Family Eye Care. And you can strike up the band. Northwood went for 2 on its first touchdown, and they will do it again. It is not something they do to rub salt in the wound. Nate Andrews figures 50% of the time, if you score on a 2-point conversion, it's the same as kicking it. And I will say this, math has never been proven wrong. Newcomer takes the snap, pulls up, and finds Jaden Miller, but he couldn't hang on, and the 2-point conversion fails. But Northwood has a 14-0 lead. It was set up by the Bronson Yoder Wild Horse 32-yard run, and then they give it to Jaden Miller on the end around, and he tucks it over the goal line for the score. Northwood in command on 46. This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week is brought to us by our friends at Bethel College Admissions. They're equipping for lifelong service. A lot of green in the stands here tonight at Northwood. Why is that? Well, it's Mental Health Awareness Month, and that is the color of mental health awareness. So the students here decided that they wanted to wear green tonight in support of that cause. And can't blame them for that. You got the green on this side, you got the orange over on the other side. It looks like a giant citrus bowl here.
A lot of colors. A lot of colors in the trees on the way down, partner. I don't know if you're aware of this, but fall is on the way.
They have told me such. By the way, our second quarter tonight brought to us by L.J. Wagner Home Interiors, as Bronson Yoder puts it on the tee to kick it off here midway through the second. Yoder does not take a long approach, about 5 yards. Spinning kick taken by Culbertson, who will take a knee at the 34-yard line. So John Culbertson, the leading tackler on this team, had a chance to get a few more yards that time, but decided discretion was the better part of valor.
Well, he's not a ball carrier and didn't want to fumble, so he took a knee. 5 minutes and 43 seconds left to go in the first half, and certainly time for Warsaw to get a chance to get a drive together and get down the field, maybe get in the end zone. They're going to have to pass the football, I think, Chuck. They haven't done it so far tonight, but not trying to tell Bart Curtis how to coach.
Well, the thing is, in Bart Curtis's world, if he could take the whole 5:43 to put it in the end zone, he would, and then he'll get the football back to start the second half. We'll see if Warsaw can execute that plan. Handoff, nope, West kept it, now pitches late, and getting thudded that time for Warsaw is Wyatt Amos, as he was put down by Hayden Snyder. And that was a big time hit. You'll get another look at it courtesy of Bethel College admissions.
Ouch.
Snyder fought off the block of the wide receiver and then was right there waiting for Amos. Jaramillo in motion. Don't think he's where he's supposed to be. Now he's moving again, and West gives it to Eli Owen, who cuts it inside, but he gets tripped up after a pickup of about 4 on the play. So Warsaw trying to get misdirection going against Northwood, but it's not opening up a whole lot.
Yep. And that is the 6th ball carrier of the night for Warsaw.
Let's check on some other scores here. Elkhart Central on top of Penn, 10-7 second quarter. Concord leads Northridge 17-14 in the second. Plymouth now with a 14-7 lead on Goshen. Here's West, first throw of the night. It's complete to Juan Jaramillo for a first down up to the 47-yard line. So West rolling out, throwing with the body, and Jaramillo was there to make the grab. Only his second catch of the season.
They get out to the 46-yard line.
Good sure tackle made by Brock Lehman that time. But not until Warsaw was able to move the chains.
Gain of 7 yards and a rare first down for Warsaw here tonight.
Late in the first half, Mishawaka and Marion tied at 7. Here's West, keeping it himself, cuts it inside. And Josh West diving forward to the midfield stripe. Hasn't carried the ball a lot tonight, but he's been averaging about 10 carries a game this season, Bob.
Picked up just about 4 yards on that carry. And again, we saw him executing very well in practice. Obviously, you've got some defenders in a bad mood over there, but they're starting to feel their way around a little bit. Remember, one of the things that's really hurt Warsaw tonight as well is their penalties. They've got 39 yards in penalties on 4 calls, and no penalties so far tonight for Northwood.
West in this offense makes a lot of reads at the line of scrimmage. Here he rolls out, fires, and hits a bullet. Jaramillo with the catch at the 36. And we've only seen West throw a couple of passes, but they've been impressive.
Moving those chains.
That's a 14-yard pickup on the play. And another first down for the Warsaw Tigers.
Newcomer with a pretty sure tackle there as well.
Elkhart Memorial leads Wawasee 17-13. That's in the second. Rochester leads Manchester 28-0 in the second. Here's West pitching out. This is Wyatt Amos, and Amos goes out of bounds at about the 32-yard line. Pickup of 3 for the halfback, Amos.
Amos now with 6 yards on 3 carries.
Wyatt, also a member of the basketball team. Of course, Doug Ogle with a very strong program down at Warsaw, and they're expected to have another fine season in the Northern Lakes Conference this year. 2nd and 6. Northwood trying to bounce around the line of scrimmage and confuse West. He makes the pitch here to Amos, who goes out of bounds after a pickup of about 2 on the play. Newcomer got over there to make the stop on defense.
Well, a couple of big downs here for Warsaw. I'm sure they are in 4-down territory with Mevis maybe within range. He was within range when he got off the bus tonight.
Well, they would be in range where I think Bart Curtis would at least consider it, but this close to a first down, Bart wants to keep the drive going and also keep the ball away from Northwood. Amos fell down as he took the handoff and goes down at the 33-yard line. And now Bart might ask Mevis to try to kick a 50-yarder, but we'll see. Watch him try to make the cut, but his feet were never under him. He was trying to make that turn way too quickly that time.
You know, we've been talking about how good a condition the field is in, and yet when you look at the uniforms of the players, a lot of mud, a lot of mud on those white pants from Northwood and the white jerseys from Warsaw.
4th and 7. Warsaw going to line up like they're going to go for it. And now Bart Curtis will use his final timeout of the first half with 2:22 to go in the stanza. We'll take the timeout as well. Northwood with a 14-0 lead on Warsaw. We'll see what the Tigers do when we come back on 46. This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week is brought to us in part by Crown Trophy. They're nationally known and locally owned.
Chuck, looking over the numbers just a moment ago, time of possession was actually fairly even, and it's evened up even more now with Warsaw having the ball at 5:45 to go, and now we're down to 2+2:22 left to go. So it's going to be about even in time of possession. When you look at the turnover, it was crucial. The penalties, crucial. They kept one Northwood drive alive, and then you just can't account for the effort of Mr. Yoder and Mr. Newcomer. They have been impressive as predicted here tonight.
4th and 7 for Warsaw at the Northwood 33. West drops back to pass and throws. It's almost intercepted, but Bronson Yoder breaks it up and squelches the Warsaw threat.
The wheel route came a couple of maybe a foot from being complete, but look at Mr. Yoder. You talk about a veteran. I know what they're trying to do. I'm really surprised he didn't catch that.
If West throws that ball just about a foot higher, he's got a shot to hit Wyatt Amos behind Yoder, but he didn't. And now Northwood takes over on downs with 2:17 to go with a half and all their timeouts.
You don't think they would love to take it down the field, maybe tack on another score? It's 14-0, and well, I think if you're the Warsaw Tigers, you're not happy about being down 14, but it sure could have been worse.
So let's see how Nate Anders decides to play this. With Nate Newcomer at quarterback, tripped up on a nice ankle tackle that time at the 30-yard line. Kobe Van Houten makes the stop that time for Warsaw. Van Houten, the 220-pound senior, and having a very solid year along the defensive line.
2-yard gain. That's 61 yards in the first half for Newcomer.
Halftime score from Steele Stadium, Mishawaka with a 14-7 lead on Marion. And also in the first quarter at Amzie Miller Field, New Prairie leads Riley 14-0. They'll give it to Bronson Yoder. That's usually a good idea. Bronson Yoder on his feet, popping away. Yoder has the first down before he's tackled at the Warsaw 47, sponsored by J&N Stone.
No flag on the play, some extracurricular activity going on after the play, but how in the world can Yoder still be on his feet? And almost gone.
They finally corralled him down by the shirt. But we'll see what the penalty is about, and Northwood is walking backwards. And we'll see what happens here.
Ball was at the 34.
Unsportsmanlike conduct against Northwood. Get the feeling in the heat of battle, and Yoder might have been feeling his oats there and said something?
Not quite sure, but the head coach, Nate Andrews, getting an explanation here. Telling Mr. Official, I appreciate your honesty, and if you're looking for a sandwich after the game,
don't.
Bourbon Street Pizza, maybe.
Oh, well, that's true. Bo Hunt down on the sidelines. We'll see if he has any kind of explanation to offer here. With the Bills heating sideline report, Bo, were you able to hear anything down there as to what the explanation was?
No, I wasn't able to actually get the full explanation. It looked like it was started as an easy conversation. Then Nate started getting a little bit more animate about it. So not sure exactly what it was.
Nate Newcomer just got thrown down on a sack by Warsaw. As the Tigers come roaring in, and that was DeAnthony Hill, or was it Gavin Truex that time, the defensive end? You'll get another copy of it courtesy of Bethel College Admissions. It's Truex, but I'm sure Nate Andrews wonders why that's not a horse collar, although it was more of a shoulder pad grab than it was the back of the neck.
He did not have the collar of the jersey or around the neck. He had about his shoulder pad.
So now Northwood looking at a 2nd and 21, and I think Nate Andrews going to look at this a little differently. Play clock down to 2, and he's going to take a timeout here with 40.5 seconds left in the first half.
Bill's Heating has been keeping families and businesses comfortable since 1951. You can relax knowing your family's comfort is their top priority. And Bill's Heating was voted best of the best by readers of the Goshen News 3 years in a row. Folks, it's that time of year. If your heating system needs a check, need to have it ready, won't be long. My dog is so upset, Chuck. I don't have the heat on yet. And he's got a favorite spot by the register where he likes to lay. And he wants me to call Bill's.
Well, wouldn't be a bad idea. It's not a bad idea next week to go to TCU Freed Field in Mishawaka for the backyard brawl. Both teams ranked number 4 in their respective polls. Penn in 6A, Mishawaka in 5A. Should be a whole lot of fun. And the only place to see it is on TV 46, Friday night at 11 and Saturday morning at 9 on your home for high school sports.
Thor Industries loves this time of year because team pride is on full display. That team culture from Friday Night Sidelines extends to our Thor Industries team. Build your future right here in Elkhart with one of Thor's excellent career opportunities. Get started today at thorindustries.com.
By the way, at that showdown up in Michigan, Edwardsburg, ranked number 1, leads Three Rivers 24-0 late first half. Northwood will go into genuflect formation and try to put an end to the first half because Warsaw cannot stop the clock. Play clock resets, but the Panthers don't have to run another play. And Nate Andrews will gladly take his team into the locker room with a 14-0 lead on Warsaw in this Northern Lakes Conference game. Bronson Yoder out talking to the official, trying to get an explanation onto what happened. And Bo Hunt will have to flash some of that Hall of Fame speed to track down Nate Andrews here on the sidelines, but I bet you he will. And Bo will get himself a Bills Heating sideline report as he's standing by now with the Northwood head coach.
Nate, in a game like that where there's limited possessions in a game, what's the most important factor in a game like that?
I'll tell you, we got more than we thought we might. Holding on to the football and capitalizing whenever you can, and it's tough to do. So kicking game's holding up right now, which I'm pleased with. You got to do a much better job there. Finish some of these drives. We had an opportunity there to put one on the board. Got away from us for one reason or another, but hopefully we'll clean that up and come out in the second half because it's going to be a battle.
Thanks for your time. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you, Bo. Stick around, everybody. We've got the L.J. Wagner Home Interiors halftime report coming up with our TCU Student Athletes of the Week. It's been a physical contest, as we expected here at Jim Andrews Field. All kinds of cracking and a whacking, and sometimes it's better to give than receive. Northwood has had the better of it so far. The Panthers lead at 14-0 on 46.
And we welcome you back to Jim Andrews Field. Here at halftime, we get a chance to honor our Student Athletes of the Week. Brought to you by TCU. TCU reminds you to go online to tcunet.com and find out how you can become a member today. And we've got a couple outstanding representatives of their respective schools with us. As always, a big treat for us to get a chance to interview these folks. So from Warsaw High School, we have Bryce Garner, and from Northwood High School, joining us is Braden Michael. And Braden, we always talk to the visitors, so you have to stand by.
Okay, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. We've got two guys with us tonight. They're both participating in football and track. And I was a little bit surprised to learn when I was talking to Bryce that you're in the dashes. You're not only a solid guy in football, but you're pretty quick.
Yeah, I've been doing sprints since middle school, and it's been my thing ever since then.
I know you love football as well. Talk about what football has meant to you at Warsaw and going through a transition this year. It's been pretty exciting.
Football's been a lot to me. I've played since 8th grade, and so it's been kind of my life. And this year has been different with the change, but it's been fun. It's been a good change.
You've also done a great job in the classroom. If you could, we're talking a lot of times to young people watching and listening and trying out how you can handle these kind of challenges. You really have to be disciplined about your time management, don't you?
Yeah, time management is big with sports and homework and schoolwork and all that kind of stuff.
You're talking about going to Purdue to study biomedical engineering. 2 words I had trouble spelling myself. What do you hope to be doing in the future?
Well, right now I have a co-op job at Zimmer Biomet, so that would be a good lifelong goal for me.
Talk about the people in your life that have made a difference and helped you along the way.
My parents have been there for me forever, so they've been a big part of my life.
Well, it wouldn't be bad to see you back in Warsaw, working with one of the big companies. We wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir.
All right, young man from Warsaw High School, Bryce Garner, is going to go on to Purdue. This young man is undecided as yet. Brett Michael, and Brett, when you think about what you're doing academically, getting it done at a high level, what do you hope to be doing in the future?
The dream job is to own my own YMCA or Boys and Girls Club and just help out kids. I love kids, love sports. So,
Mr. Furnival would want me to mention what a good club they have down in Warsaw and how active they are in the community.
Well, that's good to know.
They do a good job down there. Talk about your handling of all the challenges with between track and field and football and all your academics. I mean, you really almost have to put priorities on time, don't you?
Yeah, we learned from a young age by freshman year, you got to dedicate time to football, got to dedicate time to track, but you got to make sure school comes first, because if your schoolwork doesn't get done, you can't play.
Terrific atmosphere at Warsaw High School, always encouraging everybody to take care of all the business, and that way you have all the choices. Talk about what would you like to play in the next level at college?
I've thought about it. You know, I'm still thinking about it, but if I could, it would be an amazing experience. So,
give a shout out to the people in your life that mattered, people who have really helped you along the way.
Well, definitely my mom and dad. They've always taught me what's wrong between wrong and right, and just been there for me. A good family friend, Wanda Clem, is always there for me. Watches every game or listens to the game online, and just always there. And then my grandma and grandparents, ones that sadly have gone to heaven, but then also ones alive. They're always there, and they're always supporting my back.
Well, the good news, when they go to heaven, they can watch all your games. They never have to miss one, right?
Amen.
All righty. Well, thank you very much. Congratulations, Braden Michael, for all your success. We're really proud of you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Braden Michael from NorthWood High School and Bryce Garner from Warsaw High School, our Student Athletes of the Week. Brought to you by TCU. TCU reminds you to go online at tcunet.com. Find out how you can become a member today. We're back with some halftime stats and highlights in just a moment. You're watching the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week.
This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week is being brought to you in part by the electrical workers of Local 153. They're making our community brighter. Welcome back, everybody, to the L.J. Wagner Home Interiors halftime report. The Red Regiment of Northwood performing down on the field, their final home show of the year. And they have to like what they've seen before the show tonight, which is the first half, having Northwood lead Warsaw by a count of 14-0. Physical contest, about what we expected so far.
It was, Chuck, and there was an emotional start to the game, and then Warsaw stopped Northwood on 3 downs and got the ball, and they fumbled it right back to them, and it looked like, you know, there was a little ebb and flow in every ball game, but give credit to Northwood. They took the ball down. They were helped by a penalty on that drive. They were able to stop Warsaw, held the running game in check. I think Warsaw threw the ball a little bit there toward the end of the half. Might be a good sign for the second half. But Northwood did what they do, and Warsaw is, again, guilty of some penalties, guilty of a turnover, and it made a big difference in that first half.
Well, let's show you how it got to be this way here at Jim Andrews Field. As Bob mentioned, both teams fired up as they took the field tonight, but the turnover by Warsaw set Northwood up, and Bronson Yoder would cash it in on this little 6-yard run, running over the defender at the goal line for the score. That made it 6-0. They go for 2. Jaden Miller running left, throws with the right, finds Tanner Feenstra to make it 8-0. Juan Jaramillo had a good first half, and he runs for about 12 yards here, but the drive would stall Then the defenses start to take over. Nice tackle there by Logan Johnson of Warsaw in the backfield. Look at all the contact here that Bronson Yoder had to fight through just to get a yard. And then that was the story in this drive, the yards after contact for Northwood. Nate Newcomer, look at Yoder here on this 32-yard run down to the 2-yard line. Very next play, they give it to Jaden Miller on the end around. He cashes it in. 14-0 Northwood at the break. But the defenses have been dominant in this one so far.
They really have, and especially Northwood holding Warsaw in the first half to 53 yards rushing, 21 yards passing, a total of 74. Meanwhile, Northwood racks up 145 on the ground, a total in the first half of 169 yards. One penalty for Northwood. It cost them maybe an opportunity to score again. 4 penalties for 39 against Warsaw. The big turnover for Warsaw was a big factor in that first half. But Chuck, you're down 14-0, and not a whole lot has gone your way if you're the Warsaw Tigers. So maybe you feel like you're going to get the ball to start the second half, maybe get on the board.
I think that's the best news for Bart Curtis's team. We'll hear what he has to say. Bo Hunt will talk to him. We'll have a Bills Heating sideline report on the other side of the break. In the meantime, 14-0. They've got plenty to toot their horn about here at Jim Andrews Field. Northwood with the lead in this NLC showdown. This has been the L.J. Wagner Home Interiors halftime report. For our Facebook viewers, stick around. We'll have halftime scores in just a moment. This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week is brought to you by our friends at J.V. Macri Orthodontics. Trust your smile to the experts. Northwood with a 14-0 lead on Warsaw as we get ready for the second half. But before we get going with what Bart Curtis had to say, Bo, I know it was an emotional week for you and many members of the Bremen community with the sudden passing of athletic trainer Kelly Myers. And I know when you were the baseball coach there, Bo, that was somebody that you worked with very closely.
Yeah, just something that the community's going through right now that it's hard to put into words. Just a sudden passing of Kelly Myers. I worked with her when I was coaching at Bremen. In the last few years, every time we've been down there, every time I go down to Bremen, Kelly's been an integral part of that whole athletic program and the school and the community itself. You don't understand how much an athletic director and then also an athletic trainer does for sports and how much they affect the programs, just from not only the training aspect, but the emotional aspect of the game, taking care of the coaches as well. Great example is anytime we ever run out of Hubba Bubba in the baseball dugout, she always had an extra piece for me whenever we needed it. So she knew the coaches were taken care of very well. So just a lot of memories that people are remembering of Kelly Myers, and just our hearts go out to her, the whole community, and just thoughts and prayers with her family.
Now, as for Bart Curtis, what did he have to tell you at halftime?
Talking to Coach Curtis, his main thing was, our first and foremost thing is we need to get a score. We get a score, we make this thing manageable, then it's a different ball game. We play our game, we limit the turnovers, we limit the mistakes, and heck, we're going to play Warsaw Tiger football. Guys?
All right, thank you very much, Bo, and thank you for those heartfelt comments. The funeral for Kelly Myers will be held on Monday in Bremen. We are just about ready for action here in the second half. I can't really tell if it's fog or the smoke from burning leaves coming over the field here, but seems to be a bit of a haze down on Jim Andrews Field right now as they get ready to kick it off. And that guy has not been in a haze here in the first half. Bronson Yoder was magnificent as usual.
He really was, and as well as things went for Northwood, Chuck, you think about things like that penalty on that last drive, kind of thwarted them, kept them from getting another lead or increasing their lead. And also they missed a 2-point conversion. If, again, Bart Curtis is saying, look, if we get on the board, if we can get a touchdown and an extra point, we're in the ball game. That's the biggest thing he's got to do right now. They get the ball to start the second half, and here to call the play-by-play of this Northern Lakes Conference clash, my partner, Chuck Fraby.
So Bronson Yoder will tee it up, kind of a unique formation here. I don't know if they're playing euchre down here at the near end, but spinning kick by Yoder, and it's taken on the run by Warsaw at the 23-yard line. This is a good return for the Warsaw special teams all the way up to the 44-yard line. That's Mason Martz on the return for Warsaw. And so the Tigers in excellent field position to start the second half.
Pretty nice effort right there. And Chuck, there was a chance in the first half to have another kickoff return where they took a knee. Right now, Warsaw is looking for some heroes, and they'd like to find them right here in this offensive unit led by Josh West.
Well, this is an offense for Warsaw that has been averaging 27 points a game and averaging 260 yards a game on the ground. They are far short of both those totals through the first half, not even close to the pace that they would need to be at. West surveys the scene. Dave Wilson, the defensive coordinator, has been moving people around at the last minute tonight to try to throw off West, but nothing worked that time as Warsaw was able to plow up the middle of the field and get 5 yards with Kane Dawson, the running back.
And that'd be just fine. 4 or 5 yards a carry is terrific. I'm sure Kane Dawson is thinking about some amends he wants to make here in the second half.
Dawson was very quiet in the first half, particularly after the fumble that helped spark NorthWood on its way to the first touchdown. Here's West trying to go right up the middle. A good surge by Brock Huber, the center. And Josh West is able to get to the 50-yard line, maybe even past the midfield stripe. And that'll set up a nice 3rd and 3.
West with 14 yards rushing, and Chuck, I like that. I'm not going to say it was an audible, but if there's nobody over center and you get up there and you give the center a little whack with the back of your hand and he give you the ball and you go right up the middle, that's a quarterback read there. Nice call.
West, we mentioned earlier, makes a lot of reads at the line of scrimmage, and that's one of the reasons NorthWood has been trying to bounce around tonight to confuse him. Dawson slams his way for the first down to the 46-yard line of NorthWood. And so Warsaw will move the chains, and they're finding some room to run right up the middle of the field against NorthWood.
Yoder Sutzman Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning has been serving Napanee and the surrounding area since 1969. They're committed to what they do and are here to serve you for your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. Yoder Stutzman Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, building lasting solutions.
1st and 10 from the 46. Warsaw trailing 14-0. NorthWood with a touchdown in each of the first 2 quarters. This quarter being brought to us by our friends at L.J. Wagner Home Interiors. A lot of motion on the play. Wyatt Amos works his way up the middle of the field to the 43-yard line. 3-yard pickup there for Amos as Warsaw continues to try to use misdirection to confuse NorthWood.
Seems like they got a little rhythm going here in the second half. Something that was a little bit lacking. You see the guards pull there and wall off, and Amos able to get back inside for a few.
Excellent pulling guard action that time for Warsaw. Not sure what the whistle is all about here.
Wanted to make sure it was right.
2nd and 7. Again, West right behind center. So, Bob, they might be listening to you on the headset. I'm not sure. If so, it'd be the first staff that did. But they go right up the middle of the field when they see nobody covering up the center, and they've been able to pick up 3 yards every time they've done that.
Well, and again, it's a ball control factor of what they want to do. Bring up 3rd down and 4, and I'm sure they're in 4-down territory as they are no matter where they are on the field.
Jaramillo in motion. They pitch it behind him, and the ball finally covered up by Jaramillo back at the 45-yard line. That was a bad pitch by West that time, and it nearly cost Warsaw dearly. 4th down and long. Let's see how Bart Curtis plays it.
Jaramillo will get credit for the carry, even though it wasn't maybe totally his fault. Just they get close to getting a chance to make a big difference, and the little mistakes they've had. They had a 5-yard penalty on a 4th down. They wanted to go for it. Had to give up the ball on a punt.
Play clock is down to 8, and Warsaw has not broken the huddle. You get the feeling Bart Curtis is going to have to take time out here, and he will, with 8:38 to go in the 3rd quarter, and NorthWood leading 14-zip.
Monkey House Marketing and Design, offering innovative website design, content marketing, blogging, social media, and lead generation. Monkey House Marketing and Design has locations in South Bend, Napanee, and Fort Myers, Florida. See all they have to offer at monkeyhousemarketing.com.
Bart Curtis 6-1 in his first season with the Warsaw Tigers, over 200 wins in his career. And this Warsaw team has made its bones this year by creating a +10 turnover margin. But tonight,
it's been -1, and that's part of the problem for the Tigers. They haven't been able to pick up any cheap points here against the Panthers.
Well, the Panthers are showing why they're a top-ranked team. They're terrific. Folks, you can make your house a home with help from LJ Wagner Home Interiors. Relax in a lazy boy recliner or get ready for a perfect night's sleep with Tempur-Pedic mattress. See for yourself at LJ Wagner Home Interiors. They're on US 6 East in Napanee, near beautiful downtown Napanee. What a wonderful town, isn't it?
Boy, it's always fun to come down here, and Nate Andrews with such energy in the program these days. He's also going to be the wrestling coach here at Northwood this winter. As you see, Warsaw line up to go for it on 4th and 9 from the Northwood 45. West rolls out, decides to try to run for it and gets the first down up to the 34-yard line. Great decision by Josh West, and he showed a burst of speed that, quite frankly, we hadn't seen from him yet tonight.
Gain of 12 yards in the first down, 29 yards rushing now for West. And Chuck, that's what I was talking about earlier. When he rolls out, he has an option to throw it or to run it. And he's just doing a great job back there running that offense, and needs to maybe believe in himself a little bit more. He looked really good there.
Brock Lehman and Nick Bontrager combine on the tackle, but not until Warsaw moves the chains. What a big 4th down conversion. Now West pulled it away from Kane Dawson, dives forward to the 30-yard line. Good pickup of about 4.5 on that play. And you're starting to see some good blocking from that Warsaw offensive line. It was Matthew Shoemaker helping lay the lumber to somebody that time.
10 carries, 34 yards now on the night for Josh West, number 2. Side of that black Warsaw helmet.
2nd and 6. West will hand it off this time. Kane Dawson battles his way for a first down up to the 23-yard line.
Not sure they're picking on anybody in particular, Chuck. It just looks like Bart Curtis put it on each man in that defensive line that offensive line for Warsaw to step it up.
Dawson finally brought down by Garrett Engelmeyer that time, but not until he gets to the Northwood 23. Bart Curtis's team has taken almost 5 minutes off the clock here in the 3rd quarter. Nate Andrews hoping his defense can come up with a big stop here. West gives it off. Kane Dawson gets 3 yards this time, and they are just attacking right up the middle of this Northwood defense. Eddie Hildebrandt with the tackle that time as the sophomore linebacker makes the stop.
10 plays in the drive so far, Chuck, and they're just down to about the 20-yard line. So this could be one of those 15, 16 play drives, which we saw Bart Curtis's teams do at New Prairie, do at Mishawaka, and trying to do here to get on the board.
But you got to be able to cash them in with points. West right behind his center. They weren't set very long, but they were set long enough. Brock Huber with another good block. And it's a 4-yard pickup for West. It's 3rd and short. This is more the style of offense we expected to see from Warsaw tonight.
And they overcame a mistake in this drive with that 5-yard loss on the pitch. But as opposed to the first half where they get a setback and have to give up the ball, they answered the challenge here.
Dawson. No, West kept it himself, and Bronson Yoder comes up and makes the hit at the line of scrimmage. It'll be 4th down.
Kind of messed with the wrong Marine there. Guess who came up to make the hit?
So Warsaw has been magical on 4th down so far tonight. Can they do it again right here?
Bronson Yoder read that so well and didn't over pursue, just squared up. Said, Mr. West, you're not going east.
Northwood fans making some noise down below. Dawson and Amos in the backfield behind West. West rolls. West keeps. First down. Flags come in behind the play. West is signaled for a touchdown, but hold everything, which is, I believe, what Warsaw did on that play. The referee indicates holding against Warsaw.
And Mr. West catching his breath and dropping his head a little bit. He thought he gave everything he could on that play. And Bart Curtis, again, the frustration of a mistake in that situation.
Well, you'll take a look here and you'll see it right in the middle of the screen. There's the hold.
Yep, just long enough.
They were all over Jake Lone, didn't let him get through. And that was actually a pretty easy call to make. So now Harrison Mevis comes on to try a 44-yard field goal to get Warsaw on the board.
Well, it probably won't be short, partner.
Wyatt Amiss is the holder. Low snap. Mevis had to stop and pop, and they botched the snap, and that cost Warsaw a chance at the field goal. The timing of the play got thrown off by the bad snap and the bad hold, and Mevis frustrated as he leaves the field. The Tigers frustrated as well. 7 minutes, didn't get a point. They're trailing by 14. This edition of the TV46 High School Football Game of the Week brought to us by Imagineering Finishing Technologies. IFT, where quality is a way of life. 4:52 to go in the third, and Nate Newcomer at quarterback for Northwood. The first snap for Northwood here in the third quarter, and it goes nowhere.
Chuck, all of a sudden on the missed field goal, which, by the way, made it to the end zone. I believe is why they gave him the ball in the 20. And again, a bad snap. Tough chance for Amos to get that one down, and nobody's more frustrated than Harrison Mevis, who certainly has the leg to convert there. Northwood now, I know it's second down and 10, Chuck, but they've got a chance to put some distance between themselves and the Tigers.
Newcomer will try to run around the left side, and he's brought down after a pickup of just 2. And Northwood in a rare 3rd and long tonight, looking at 3rd and 8. Probably the first time they've been looking at something like this since their first possession of the game.
56 yards now on the night for Newcomer. He had that sack just before the end of the first half.
Bronson Yoder down past the bottom of your screen, the receiver. He looks like he's got single coverage right now. You wonder if Nate Newcomer just might send him on a fly pattern. Newcomer throws it up. He wants Jaden Miller. It is knocked away. Good defense that time by the Tigers as Blake Marsh came up with his 11th pass broken up of the season. And a 3-and-out for the Panthers on their first possession of the second half.
Pretty impressive stop by the Warsaw defense. Folks, Teachers Credit Union understands the importance of growing your future, whether you're growing your family, your square footage, or your business. Teachers Credit Union is here for you with financial solutions that will help you succeed. Visit the website at tcunet.com to start growing your future today. Federally insured by the NCUA, they are an equal housing opportunity lender.
Miller might have gotten away with a little tug on the back of the jersey. Bronson Yoder barely got the kick out of there. Eli Owen fields at his 46. He's elusive. He hurdles a tackler and finally gets thrown down at the 45, and we've got another flag down on the play. And I think it could be a hold against Warsaw.
Well, so far, Bart Curtis looks up and says, who's the enemy? So far, it's been Warsaw. They have been impressive on a couple of returns here in the second half, much better than we saw in the first half.
It's a block in the back against Warsaw. And so that'll cost the Tigers 10 yards. Let's see if we can pick it up here on the Bethel College admissions replay.
Number 11 was pushed by number 8.
Yeah. And still made the tackle.
Yeah.
Jake Lone coming up with the big play there.
Still pretty good position for Warsaw. Chuck, it's not all that late, but you're down to 3:15 to go in the third quarter. I got to believe that if Warsaw is going to get a chance to win this game, they've got to start throwing that ball a little bit. They've been successful with it.
Halftime, New Prairie with a 21-0 lead on South Bend Riley. Also in the second half, Mishawaka with a 21-10 lead on Marion. West keeps it himself and bangs forward for about 4 yards on the play. And again, Nick Bontrager having a solid game. We talked to him this week. He said, you have to read your keys a lot against this Warsaw offense. And then Nate Andrews chuckled and said, well, find me an offense you don't have to read your keys against.
42 yards for West running the ball. He's had a pretty good second half. Chuck, one of the things about that first 7-minute drive by Warsaw, didn't get any points, but that defense for NorthWood now has to be getting a little bit tired. They've been out there quite a bit.
And they'll keep it in the middle of the field. Kane Dawson with the carry this time. Picks up about 3 on the play, takes it into NorthWood territory to the 49-yard line. And Warsaw looking at a 3rd and 4, but time starting to become an enemy of the Tigers.
Dawson with 33 yards rushing tonight.
Culver Academy has taken a 14-11 lead on St. Joe. Late second quarter at Father Bly Field. Here it's 14-0 Northwood, under 2 minutes to go, third quarter. It's West on the keeper, scrambling around the left side. Josh West carrying tacklers with him to the Northwood 30. 18 yards on the pickup for the Warsaw QB.
Check, that puts Warsaw over the 100-yard mark for the ball game and puts West at 60 yards. And he's done that on 14 carries so far tonight. Again, you got a couple players for Northwood, including newcomer, playing both ways. So the time of possession here in the second half has been pretty incredible. 1:40, actually 1:38 is all the time that Northwood has had the ball in the second half.
1st and 10. Dawson the lone back behind West in this Warsaw backfield. And it's Kane Dawson on the carry for only about a yard. That time, Northwood was able to stuff things in the middle of the defense. It was a fairly sleepless week for defensive coordinator Dave Wilson, worrying about how to stop this Warsaw attack.
And the Tigers seem like they're getting a little taste. You know, sometimes an offensive line, frustration sets in when you haven't scored, but they seem like they're getting a little success. They're getting a little push. They're getting a little opportunity. And Bart Curtis trying to get his team to rally around that.
West now looking at 2nd and 9. West will keep it himself. Nice cut on the inside. Cuts against the grain. West stumbling to the end zone. Did he get in? No, he stopped at the 1. Jason Borkholder with the touchdown saving tackle. But West with a beautiful run, and Warsaw shows some life here late third quarter.
Nice cutback. Looks like he almost lost the football here, Chuck. Right there, he had to kind of take a half a step maybe to get it back under control, and that might have cost him the 6, but he's down to the 1. What a run.
If we had replay, that would have been a touchdown, because he kind of went right over the body of the tackler. Wound up being a 28-yard pickup, and now West to the end zone for the touchdown. Josh West with the touchdown for Warsaw, and the Tigers are hanging around. His 9th rushing touchdown of the year.
Boy, came right back and called his number, and in he goes for the touchdown.
So Josh West, who apparently is fighting some cramps down in his right calf, comes through with a big run right there, and now Harrison Nevis on to try a very important extra point.
See if we get a better snap on this kicking opportunity.
The snap is clean, the kick is up, and it is good. 29.9 seconds to go in the third. The last time Warsaw came to Jim Andrews Field, they gave up 61 points and got blown out. Now they are in a position where they will go to the fourth quarter and could compete for the Northern Lakes Conference title. They trail 14-7.
Interested in improving all areas of your fitness program or sport? Join the Strength and Conditioning Center in Mishawaka. That's Beacon Sports Performance. They offer youth, high school, and adult performance training. Visit them on their website at beaconhealthandfitness.org. Do it today.
Bart Curtis and his Warsaw Tigers, 6-1 in his first year at the helm. Of course, this is 28th season of coaching. We've known Bart for a long time. He started his career coaching at Mechanic-Law. We met up with him when he was at New Prairie. Raised that program up. Of course, now Russ Radke doing a great job at New Prairie. Then he went to Mishawaka, took them to new heights. Of course, ended Penn's long win streak in the Northern Indiana Conference. And now trying to do big things here at Warsaw and has really changed the culture. We talked to the kids this week, Bob, and they talked about feeling like they're part of a family right now.
And that's one of the things that Bart reached out and offered the kids. You give me all you got, I'm going to give you all I got. And he wanted kids who would buy into his program, and some did not. And, you know, Bart said, hey, the ones who bought in are here. The ones who didn't buy in are gone. And that's kind of what you got to do. We're going to do it Warsaw Tiger. We're going to establish a Warsaw Tiger way of getting things done. And I think you got to love the results so far in the season. The fact that they battled back in this game. They've given up a fumble. They've had some penalties. They missed a field goal opportunity. A lot of things have gone against them, but all coaches, good coaches, will tell their kids you're going to get 7 or 8 things go against you. You got to rally and overcome it. And here we go. Big kickoff here.
NorthWood changing up its look right before Mevis approaches. And Mevis bangs another touchback into the end zone. So NorthWood will have to start 1st and 10 at its own 20. And Mevis, his second touchback of the night, is 39th of the year.
Folks, Bourbon Street Pizza in Napanee is open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner. Try the buffalo chicken pizza with sweet baby-raised buffalo sauce, tender garlic chicken strips, and mozzarella cheese. Enjoy your favorite pizza, pasta, and wings. Dine in or carry out or get delivery. That number is 773-9600, 773-9600. We want to thank Bourbon Street Pizza in Napanee for feeding our production crew tonight with great pizza. Thank you very much.
So let's see what NorthWood tries to do here. And what could be the final play of the third quarter. Bronson Yoder has lined up at quarterback. And Yoder gets around the left side, banged out of bounds at the 27. That'll stop the clock after a 7-yard pickup for Yoder, who's approaching the 100-yard mark for the night.
A gain of 7 yards on the play. Bronson Yoder. Yoder now at 95 yards on the night, as you said, Chuck, getting off close to that 100-yard mark.
He was 15th in the state in rushing coming into the night. Tricky snap. Yoder controlled it, bounces away from tacklers and gets the first down, sponsored by J&N Stone, before he finally goes out of bounds at the 36-yard line.
He carried for 3 and scrambled for 6 more and got the first down.
Again, if we had a stat of yards after contact tonight, I wouldn't be surprised if more than half of his yards came after initial contact.
And he's looking over the sidelines, getting the play call, and no question about it, Nate Andrews feels like this is a drive they would love to get another score out of and get back to that 2-touchdown lead.
And a flag against NorthWood here, a false start. A little surprised this doesn't happen more with the Panthers, given the fact that they use 2 quarterbacks.
Usually could be a factor. It's just the second penalty of the game. 20 yards on 2 calls. The teams in this game working toward a great finish. So is the team from Imagineering Finishing Technologies. Partners with industries including aerospace, automotive, military and defense, medical, and precision machining. At IFT, quality is a way of life.
So that'll set up a 1st and 15 for NorthWood at its own 31-yard line. Yoder faked, looking to the left, now runs to the right, and finally John Culbertson gets over there to corral him at the 35-yard line. Pick up a 4 on the play, and that'll bring an end to 3/4 of play here at Jim Andrews Field. The Northern Lakes Conference lead still very much in doubt. Warsaw was trailing by 14, but then Josh West got busy with some running and took it on into the end zone eventually, and the Tigers are within 7 as we go to the 4th on 46. This edition of the 46th Game of the Week brought to you by Bill's Heating. They've been keeping families and businesses comfortable since 1951. Relax knowing your family's comfort is their top priority. Bill's Heating voted best of the best by the readers of the Goshen News 3 years in a row. And for a Bill's Heating sideline report, we go downstairs to Bo Hunt. Your thoughts on Warsaw's comeback in the 3rd?
I think just like Coach Curtis talked about, he goes, we need to get this one score to make it manageable. Well, they're now at that point. They've made it manageable. Talked to Coach Andrews before he went off, talked about limited possessions. Well, this is only their 2nd possession in the 2nd half, and that's what's going to be the rest of the game. Limited possessions. You have to score. You have to take advantage of the possessions that you have, and you can't let Warsaw march back down the field after this possession, guys.
Warsaw wants to make sure you have fewer possessions than a monk.
9:52 time of possession for Warsaw in that 3rd quarter. 9:52. That means they gave just 2:08 to Northwood.
Bronson Yoder, though, is on the loose again, and Yoder dives to the 50-yard line. A first down sponsored by J&N Stone. That'll take him over 100 yards for the night as he picked up about 15 on that play.
Takes him to 123 on the night, partner, and you just can't tackle him like you would any other back because he's got such size, strength, and balance.
Look at the turf coming out of his helmet. I mean, that's high school football right there. That is a terrific high school football player. Miller in motion. Yoder somehow came up with that snap and somehow got past the line of scrimmage. They called Javi Baez El Mago for the Cubs. Well, you could use Houdini to describe Bronson Yoder.
One of the best 3-yard carries of the season. This could have been a big loss.
The stiff arm by Yoder was terrific. Now it's Jared Miller trying to cut it on the end around, but he gets knocked down by Culbertson, the linebacker, at the line of scrimmage, and it'll be 3rd and 7. Boy, Josh Culbertson, you look at him, you don't necessarily say physical specimen, but number 20 for Warsaw always seems to come up with a big stick, and Miller in a little bit of pain coming out of that one.
10 yards and 2 carries for Miller, holding that left arm a little gingerly.
I think he might have gotten a stinger that time.
Big down right here for the Warsaw defense and for the Northwood offense. Guess who's going to get the ball?
You know it. Question is, where is he going to go, and can you bring him down? And that time Warsaw got 4 bodies around him and brought him to the turf. And who was right in the middle of it? Well, it wasn't Culbertson that time. It was Gage Lyon, the junior linebacker, who came up with the hit. It's 4th and 5, and Northwood appears to want to go for it, although Yoder is also the punter, and he's about 4 yards behind the center. Yoder drops back a little further so he can punt it, and nobody back deep for Warsaw. Did he cough and corner it? No, it rolls into the end zone for the touchback, and Warsaw will get it at the 20-yard line.
Well, you can hear the fans here at Northwood. Oh, everybody's into it. And I tell you what, we got a great crowd here tonight, and a great crowd on the other side from Warsaw made the trip over here. Folks, Thor Industries loves this time of year because team pride is on full display. That team culture from Friday Night Sidelines extends to our Thor Industries team. Build your future right here in Elkhart with one of Thor's excellent career opportunities. Get started today at thorindustries.com.
So the Warsaw Tigers have dominated possession here in the second half. And now they find themselves trailing by 1 possession, 80 yards away from pay dirt with 10 minutes left. Josh West surveys the defense. And West hands it off. Kane Dawson could only squeeze out a yard that time, as Northwood, which had been gashed up the middle, came up with a big stop. Jake Lone in there to make the hit.
A lot of heroes on both sides, as you'd expect, from two programs that are having great seasons, and so much on the line here tonight.
Noah Alexander in there at nose tackle, trying to fire up the troops. It's 2nd and 9. Warsaw goes to a spread look for the first time tonight. West looks that way, fires and completes it up the middle of the field. That's Wyatt Amiss up to the 45-yard line.
"23 yards on the completion.
Wyatt Amiss with the big catch there, and Amiss this year has been a talented receiver, 5 catches on the season. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it leads this Warsaw team.
First pass of the second half for Warsaw.
Movement along the line, though, that time for the Tigers. That'll cost them 5.
Sometimes coaches refer to those as nuisance penalties, but when you have too many of them, a little more than that. 54 yards in penalties for the Tigers here tonight.
And that's for them a lot.
It is, and I don't know, I'm having trouble finding a place to blame. It's been different people every time, but it's almost like the system is so new. I know we're in week number 8, but there's a lot of aspects to it.
Meanwhile, it looks like Jaramillo on the carry that time, and he gets up to the 50-yard line, so he gets back not only the 5 yards they lost on the penalty, but about 3 more, and it'll be 2nd and 7.
Jaramillo's done a pretty good job. He had the one negative carry, but he's got 16 yards and 5 carries, so he is certainly a force for Warsaw. That Northwood defense, that time of possession in the third quarter, 9:52 for Warsaw, 2:08 for Northwood. So wouldn't Warsaw love to have another long drive?
And they're going to call a timeout right here because they seem to be unsettled, and the play clock was ticking down. 8:04 to go in this one. Very important drive for the Warsaw Tigers. You'll see how it turns out when we come back on 46. This edition of the TV46 High School Football Game of the Week is being brought to you by the Indiana High School Athletic Association, partnering with TV46 for 28 years. Chuck Bravey, Bob Dingle, and Bo Hunt back with you at Jim Andrews Field. Big crowd on hand for this Northern Lakes Conference showdown. Northwood, the only unbeaten team in the NLC, but clinging to a 7-point lead with 8:04 to go here in the fourth quarter.
As you said, a lot of fans on both sides. I would expect maybe that the Northwood fans would be making a little bit more noise here. So much on the line. They were up 14-0, but boy, they're hooked in one right now. And that defense that runs back out on the field has been out there a lot here in the second half. It was about even on time of possession at halftime, but some of those fellas, some are two-way performers like Newcomer. That black jersey get a little heavy.
West keeps it himself, and nobody saw him. Finally, Hayden Snyder sticks him at the 45-yard line, short of the first down. It'll be 3rd and about 2.
Boy, he had momentum, too, to get the first down, and I think he tried to cut outside to keep it going, and he got taken down hard.
You get another look courtesy of Bethel College Admissions. Once again, our thanks to Monkey House Marketing for sponsoring our live stream on Facebook tonight. Up the middle and picking up the first down. West clapping his hands down at the bottom of the pile after he kept it for the first down.
Gene and Stone and the Loniger family, including Tara, who texted us early tonight. They wish the Panthers good luck tonight and through the remainder of the season. Jack and Nadine, proud supporters of Northwood and the entire Waukegan community, and they take pride in their customer service. J&N Stone, handcrafted, nature-inspired stone veneer.
Jaramillo in motion, they pitch to him. Trying to turn the corner, and he's able to get about 4 on the play. Juan Jaramillo, the exciting sophomore who ran for 100 yards last week in the win over Wawasee, makes it 2nd down and about 5 here.
We had some good momentum, nice cutback. Jaramillo now with 21 yards rushing. 97 for West, most of it here in the second half.
He's done the bulk of the carrying tonight. Of course, it really depends on what the defense gives you, and West has made some good reads here in the second half. He keeps it here and gets stuck by Jaden Miller at the 37-yard line, pickup of 1 on the play. Miller, the junior linebacker, 5'8", but 177 pounds and strong.
Not Cortez Lee, Chuck, but showing a lot of the same mannerisms, something Bart Curtis loves. Good execution, hang on to that football.
And Josh West seems like he's hobbling off the field right here. And I think he's going to have to come out for a play.
Well, he seems like he might feel better now. As he bent over on his way to the sidelines, Chuck, he kind of threw up a little bit. So I don't know, maybe a little nervous stomach going on there.
Bo Hunt, you're down there on the sidelines. You reported earlier that West was cramping, and seen more of that from him?
Actually, he looked like he got hit in the gut, and he was actually vomiting on the sideline as he was walking off. So I think he really got just drilled in the gut and the stomach there, and really knocked something up, guys.
Blake Marsh in at quarterback. And it's Marsh up the middle, and he's close to the first down if he didn't get it. So Marsh going with that quarterback sneak. He was watching West use it. And the spot of this ball, very important. It's short of the chains, and it'll be 4th and 1.
Well, he needed 4, he got 3.
We identified Marsh as one of our keys to win tonight for Warsaw before the game, but a lot of that was because of defense. Now he's got a chance to show it on offense. 4th and inches. QB sneak again, 1st down Warsaw.
Wow, what a nice performance by Marsh coming in off the bench.
You got to be sure of the snap, and he was, and he takes it up to the 32-yard line, and now Josh West is ready to return.
A lot of excitement on that Warsaw sideline. And
you hear the
again, they took over with 10 minutes to go in the ball game. We're down to about the 5-minute mark. This is like an unbelievable amount of ball possession in the second half.
You hear the roar from the Orange Crush student body across the way as West comes back out. Kane Dawson slamming up the middle this time and picks up about 5.
39 yards now on the night for Kane Dawson.
Dawson, the leading ball carrier on this Warsaw team for the season.
I'll say hi to John Barron and the Plymouth Rockies watching the ball game tonight, I'm sure.
They get Northwood next week. They'd love a Warsaw win here. That would still open up a shot at the title for the Plymouth Rockies. West keeps it himself. Bronson Yoder spins him down at the 25-yard line. And it'll be 3rd down and short.
Over 100 yards now on the night for Josh West.
Warsaw came from 18 points down last year to knock off Northwood at Fisher Field. They trailed by 14 at halftime tonight, and now they're trying to march for a tying score. It's 3rd and 2, and right up the middle, West surging forward for the 1st down. It's a little bit surprising that Northwood has not made the adjustment to cover up the center.
Well, it's the defense they run all season. It's one they're confident in. But I think, Chuck, there's just a lot of guys that see the dirt on their pants there. It is a little bit wet. We get a lot of rain here this week, but I just think there's a lot of tired bodies in that defensive front.
20-yard line, the line of scrimmage. They give it to Dawson. He goes forward again for a couple of yards. There are rarely any kind of negative plays in this Warsaw offense. Josh West down on one knee as he goes over towards the sideline, but he might have just been tying his shoe.
That was the 13th play of this drive. And they have taken almost 7 minutes off the clock again. That was their first drive of the second half.
Well, the thing is, you better punch it in here, because the rate Warsaw goes, you're not going to get it back, and NorthWood will take a timeout. They talked about those tired bodies for the Panthers, and they got to do something about it here with 3:02 left.
Yoder Stutzman Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning has been serving Napanee and the surrounding area since 1969. They're committed to what they do and are here to serve you for your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. Yoder Stutzman Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, building lasting solutions.
We've got a good one here tonight. We think we've got a good one to close out the regular season next week at TCU Freed Field. Number 4 Mishawaka in 5A takes on number 4 Penn in 6A. Should be a whole lot of fun in the backyard brawl. We'll have it. In fact, the only place you can see that game is on TV 46 next Friday night at 11 and next Saturday morning at 9.
Wow, what a finish to our regular season. Then we're here for the postseason all the way down to Indianapolis, where they will be in the oil can playing for state championships. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't have a couple teams down there. I tell you what, Bremen has been so impressive this year.
Well, you talk about the tournament, and the draw is Sunday. That is only on the internet anymore. It is not on the IHSAA television network. And so we encourage you to go to ihsaa.org and the Champions Network on the internet, and they will have it for you. You'll get to see where your favorite team gets sent. It is 2nd down and 6 at the NorthWood 17.
14th play of the drive coming up right here.
Josh West, the quarterback for Warsaw, settles in under Brock Huber as center. West keeps it himself, angles his body up to about the 13-yard line, and that'll set up a 3rd and 3.
West has taken some punishment, hasn't
he? He's had to. He's been the bulwark tonight.
You can be sick tomorrow, Josh. Right now you got a game to finish up.
Well, and you can tell he wants to be out there.
And Bart Curtis would not have him out there if there's any question about his health.
3rd and 2. Again, Huber fires out, leads the way for West.
I think he got it.
It's awfully close. The side judge comes in and indicates that he is short.
He's about 5'10", isn't he?
West looking over the situation, and there's no question here on 4th and inches that Warsaw will go for it.
Going to bring the chains in and take a look. Our crew's done a nice job tonight. I think our officials have acquitted themselves extremely well tonight, headed up by the referee E.J. Carroll, Don Greer, Brian Elliott, Lynn Blevins, and Ron Cherry on that crew. And as you said, Chuck,
about a foot. So it'll be 4th and a foot for Warsaw, and the game on the line right here.
Coach Andrews just gave a pat on the back to his defensive specialist.
NorthWood hoping to get a stop and seal the deal. And flags thrown and whistles blown, and did Warsaw jump? False start on the Tigers.
Will. Seventh penalty of the night, 59 yards. So Bart Curtis has got to run a 4th down and 6 play.
Whole lot different than 4th and a foot.
Still think he's got to use West to roll out, give himself an option, pass or throw.
He's been effective doing that tonight.
Pass or run, I should have
Jaramillo in motion. They fake the pitch that way. West throwing for the end zone. Touchdown! Wyatt Amos. His second touchdown catch of the year. And Warsaw's within an extra point of tying this one up.
Or, partner, if you've got Northwood back on their heels, you take a shot at winning it. You already have a loss in conference play. You need a win here tonight.
They will go for one, though, or at least that's the way they'll line up. Amos is the holder as well. They did work on scramble plays out of the PAT at practice on Wednesday. And a timeout called by Warsaw. Maybe Bart Curtis does want to go for two.
Well, he certainly has the Northwood defense back on their heels.
Well, and you got to think that with the way Bart Curtis's offense is run, 2 yards is pretty much a standard play for them. But look at this throw by West, who squared his shoulders and chucked it to the end zone, and there was Amos to haul it in.
And he took another shot after he released that ball. So we'll see if Bart Curtis wants to do it. Meantime, we'll tell you that Monkey House Marketing and Design, offering innovative website design, content marketing, blogging, social media, and lead generation. Monkey House Marketing and Design has locations in South Bend, Napanee, and Fort Myers, Florida. See all they have to offer at monkeyhousemarketing.com.
Nate Andrews with his team around him, talking over strategy. Meanwhile, over on the other side, Bart Curtis trying to dial up the two-point play, perhaps. That would give his team its first lead of the night. Only 1:40 to go in this one. And look at the fans in the stands. A worried mom looking on. Bronson Yoder's mama trying to encourage her son and his teammates to come up with a big play. Warsaw will go for two. Dawson and Jaramillo, the backs behind Josh West.
Bart Curtis might have wanted to give West a little bit of a break, and now Northwood wants a timeout.
They wanted to see how Warsaw would line up. The chess match continues.
Folks, make your house a home with help from L.J. Wagner Home Interiors. Relax in a Lazy Boy recliner or get ready for a perfect night's sleep with a Tempur-Pedic mattress. See for yourself at L.J. Wagner Home Interiors. They're on US 6 East in Napanee.
I can't emphasize enough. 2 years ago, Warsaw came here and lost to Northwood 61-27, and the game wasn't even really that close. Then last year, they knock off Northwood at Fisher Field 31-28, but there was still a chip on the shoulder of the Warsaw players about coming here to Andrews Field and picking up a win.
Well, Chuck, one of the things that's been happening in our office, you and I are being relocated, so we've been made to kind of clean out all the piles of stats, and I'm trying to save paper clips of all things, so I'm going through each one of the games that we have, a little packet I have, going back maybe 10 years. And I saw Bart Curtis's name at New Prairie, I saw his name at Mishawaka, and of course now he's here at Warsaw. And boy, some of the names have changed at other schools in that period of time. Not many of those original guys still left, but partner, we got a big play right here.
Two receivers off to the left of Josh West. West rolls out, gets hit, taken down. Jaden Miller made the big play. It's a 1-point Northwood lead, but now let's see if Warsaw will go with the onside kick. You get another look from Bethel College admissions.
Well, Miller came up big, didn't he? Keep in mind that his left arm appeared to have been hurt earlier in the ball game, but the game was on the line, and the Northwood Panthers came up with a huge play. As you said, partner, a lot of time to go, and it's only 1:40, but the onside kick could determine an opportunity maybe for Warsaw, but boy, Nate Andrews got to be proud of his kids. His defense got pounded and pounded and pounded, and that was the 15, 16. That was the 17th play in a row his defense was on the field, and they stopped the 2-point conversion.
Warsaw with no timeouts remaining. So it's all on the onside kick right here. They've got to make something happen, or Northwood should be able to drain the last minute 40 of this one off the clock.
"54 yards passing tonight for West on 4 out of 4. The only time they stopped him was with that sack right there on the 2-point conversion. All hands on deck here, partner.
10 people up between the 45 and 50 for Northwood. Harrison Mevis will be the kicker.
I think he's going to go bowling, partner. I think he's going to try to hit it so hard right at one of the Northwood Panthers, see if he can get it to bounce off of him. Looks like he's going to do the little flop job, but we'll see what happens.
Well, lots of times you see kickers who are able to get that second hop to come up, and then you hope one of your guys can leap up and grab it. Mevis lining up as though he's going to send it to the left side. We'll see if that's the case. Northwood actually has a numbers advantage on that side. They have a deficit off to the left. So here's the big kick with Warsaw down 1. Mevis slams it, and Bronson Yoder covers it up, of course.
Kicked it to the wrong guy. I'm sorry, Bronson covered it up. He did what he should have done, but I think somewhere in that noggin there was an idea of maybe scooping it up and going the other way.
Well,
did the right thing.
Once he bobbled it and it was down on the ground, then you just grab it. And that's what Yoder did. And Warsaw, what a valiant effort by the Tigers tonight. But Northwood is going to come away out of this one with a 1-point win, and they'll go to Plymouth next week to play another game for the Northern Lakes Conference title.
Victory formation, because Bart Curtis has used up most of his, well, all of his timeouts here in the second half. It wouldn't matter anyway.
So Yoder takes a knee, and they can let 40 seconds climb off the clock here. And big plays tonight from Bronson Yoder and Jaden Miller. Miller had the touchdown in the second quarter, and then he came up with the big hit at the end of the game.
And he threw the 2-point conversion. Might be talking to Bo Hunt if he's not careful.
Bo lobbying to talk to somebody else probably, although he's taller than Jaden Miller, so I mean he should like that part. One more snap, and this one will be in the books, and the Northwood Panthers will go to 8-0 on the year. And at number 2 in Class 4A, the handshake starting across the way between Northwood and Warsaw, some fist bumps. That was a hard-fought game and a very physical one between two teams tonight. But the Panther fans have begun to celebrate, and understandably so. They are just one game away from another Northern Lakes Conference title, something that means a lot to this school. They are currently the smallest enrollment in the Northern Lakes Conference and trying to win its biggest prize. Northwood takes it by a count of 14-13. Stick around, the R. Yoder Construction postgame show with our electrifying play of the game and our IU South Bend fulfilling the promise player of the game. It's all next on the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week.
ME TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week. Brought to you by
The fog's starting to settle in here at Jim Andrews Field, and the fans may feel like they're in a fog on the way home after this one. What a ball game tonight. Northwood hangs on to get a 14-13 lead over Warsaw and the win, and the Panthers go to 8-0 on the season. Welcome, everybody. The R. Yoder Construction postgame show. Chuck Freeby and Bob Nagel high above the fray. This one was as advertised and even better.
It really was. And what a fun ball game, not only to broadcast, but for fans to watch and appreciate how two football programs with terrific coaching and terrific staffs had their teams ready to play. 14-0 lead early for Northwood, but man, there were a lot of heroes on both sides, and certainly a number of them on the Northwood sideline who helped get the win.
Well, and two of those heroes are standing by now with Bo Hunt. We have IU South Bend fulfilling the promise, players of the game. Bo?
Standing by with our players of the game, Bronson Yoder, Jaden Miller. First, I'm going to start with Jaden. Jaden, touchdown, but most importantly, the huge play at the end of the game. Just talk about that sack and just talk about the emotions going through it.
Sir, we had all of our jobs ready. All our guys knew what we were doing. I had my job. My brother on my side had his job, and he was going to do his job for me, and I was going to do my job for him, and that's all that was going through my mind. When I saw the quarterback roll out, I knew that's what it was. That's my job, and I was going to do it for all those brothers on my team, on the sideline, in the stands. No matter who was like in our community, that's what I was going to do it for, and that's what I wanted to do.
That was just such a long drive that they had. You guys were a little worn out, getting down there, just emotional, tired, games on the line. Just, talk about your teammates as well.
We had practice all week that they were going to keep the ball, and then we were just going to keep playing defense and defense and defense. We wanted to cheer when they got a first down because that's just 4 more plays on defense that we get. It was a longer drive, but I think that just drove us more and more. Even with the longest drives, I feel like we just came together more as a team and just came in at the end.
Jaden Miller here with Bronson Yoder as well. Bronson, just another terrific game out of you, offensively, defensively. A little bit of a punt return that got called back. Just talk about the game.
It was a team effort. Can't give credit to one or two guys. You got to give credit to everyone. Our own line blocked like crazy. We took care of it on defense. We just came together with a team. There's a lot of highs and lows, but we took care of it.
I know there's one more week left. You guys at least claim to share. Warsaw came back and beat you guys last year, down by 18. They came back from a 14-point deficit. How does it feel to come out of here with a victory, though?
It always feels good to have a victory. But just to get a little bit of revenge and have it that close, and just the last play, I mean, it's amazing. It's an amazing feeling. So,
always a pleasure talking to you. Last time I talked to you, I gave you a little bit of grief about not returning the kick. You returned the kick. You pointed at me.
I did.
But it got called back.
Sure did. Love it.
Players of our game, Bronson Yoder, Jaden Miller. Back to you guys.
That's beautiful. Good job, Bo. Thank you very much. And speaking of beautiful, if you're a Northwood fan, you think our play of the game is beautiful. It's sponsored by the electrical workers of Local 153, and Jaden Miller was electrifying when it counted on the 2-point conversion.
I think they thought maybe Josh West was going to roll out. He did, and they guessed right. And Miller took him down hard and then set a new record in the 40-yard dash. But a lot of heroes, as we said, on the Northwood side. You think about the job that Josh West did for Warsaw tonight, and outstanding job. They had a lot of guys who stepped up. They possessed the ball in the second half. Chuck, two things that come to mind. Mevis missed an opportunity maybe to kick a field goal. Could have meant the world. They wouldn't have needed the extra point at the end of the game, but bad snap. A lot of things went into it. A lot of penalties for Warsaw tonight. They fumbled the ball early. They missed the field goal opportunity, and yet came out on the visitors' field with a 1-point loss to one of the best teams in the state. A pretty good night for both teams. A lot to be proud of.
Bart Curtis emphasizes that little things make a difference, and that's been emphasized to his team all season long. They made a difference tonight, too. They will learn from this. They will play Concord next week. If they can beat a Minuteman team that got a victory tonight over Northridge, Warsaw would wrap up the regular season 7-2, and there would be much rejoicing down in Kosciuszko County. There certainly is here in Napanee tonight. They've got a share of the Northern Lakes Conference title after a 14-13 win. Our thanks to our TV 46 crew who brought you this one. Led tonight by the bubbly one, Champagne Tony Beltran at the controls once again. He had the help of our usual crack crew on this one, and we appreciate each and every one of them and the effort they put forth each week to bring you high school football. Don't forget college football on the radio tomorrow. 103.1 FM has Indiana taking on Ohio State. That's a 4 o'clock kickoff in Columbus. And then next Friday night, it's more high school football for you. What a dandy matchup. It's the Backyard Brawl, number 4 Mishawaka and number 4 Penn. The only place to see it is on TV 46. Now from our broadcast partners, the Hall of Famers, Bob Nagel and Bo Hunt. It's Chuck Freeby. Once again, the final score. Northwood 14, Warsaw 13. So long from hardly sleepy Napanee.